Okay, audio is on. Welcome inside Chris Evans podcast, a part of Second Banana Media here in the studio today instead of the home office. Just got out of the courtroom about 11:30 this morning. It did start on time at 9 o'clock this morning. And I won't go over all the details. I will go over the important things. I said I'd come on during lunchtime if there was something big that happened, and definitely some new insight of what the defense is for Brent Mack and his attorney team. There was a witnesses call today. I'll give another full update later this evening on everything there. But the state rests their case after 3 or 4 witnesses today, and they rest their case at 11:18. And the only thing as far as the state side that I was waiting on, ready for, was a motive. And so that never came out on this part of the state. Never heard a motive of why did Dan Triplett allegedly shoot Brent Mack? Why did he do that? And that was not revealed. That has not been revealed. There's been hints of maybe what it was, but it was not revealed, not hit on hard, I don't think, by the state. We'll see. I mean, it's still ongoing, but motive, there's no motive and there's no gun at this time. But I don't think we're going to need the gun, all the ballistic thing, all that we've heard so far. I don't think that will matter. After the state rest, Ronald Wallace, the attorney for Dan Triplett, gave his opening statement. Remember, he reserved his opening statement until the state was done, and that's exactly what he did. And at 11:08, he gave a 7-minute opening statement, and it started at 11:18 and it went till 11:25. I'll go over the opening statement that he shared. I had to write really, really fast, so hopefully I can read my handwriting. So instead of starting Dan Triplett's case at 11:25, they broke for lunch, and they will resume the trial today at 1:15 with the defense side of this case. Ronald Wallace got up and spoke to the jurors and said, this opening statement is not for evidence. This is just my view of what this is. He gave a foundation of what his case will be. And this is what the foundation is. He said, you will learn through line of questioning through witnesses. Dan Triplett was a lifelong resident of Guthrie. He was raised on Triplett Road, a family road. He was a salutatorian in Guthrie High School. He has an associate degree at Oklahoma State University. He married Sharon Triplett, who is a well-known CPA, has 3 daughters, has 2 grandkids. They are a tight family. They have a great report with great reputation, in Guthrie. You will see that he has no mental health issues. He's a longtime businessman here in Guthrie. And that Dan Triplett hired Brent Mack, and because it's hard working in the septic tank business, it's hard to keep work for Dan Triplett. The attorney said Dan Triplett tried to help Brent Mack, gave him a place to live. He used to live above the CPA office down here in downtown Guthrie. He said Brent Mack had a criminal history. He's known for a temper, known as a hothead. Brent Mack, Ron Wallace, the attorney for Dan Triplett, is saying all this to the jurors in the opening statement. Brent Mack became disgruntled. That Dan Triplett stopped offering Brent Mack a place to live except for the trailer that didn't have any electricity, didn't have any gas, didn't have any water, didn't have any utilities out in the county somewhere. And that Brent Mack had issues with a customer. It's come up a few times that he had a run-in with one of Dan Triplett's customers 2 weeks before the Crescent. The Crescent job was September 8th. The job in Mulhall, the day that Brent Mack died, was September 20th. So 2 weeks before September 8th, Brent Mack had an argument, according to Ron Shipman, 2 weeks before that September 8th Crescent job. He says Brent Mack and Dan Triplett were working at the scene. It was a hot day. It was 7 o'clock. Tempers were short. We're talking about September 20th now. And Dan Triplett, a couple weeks, I think, before, again, this is kind of foundation, but anyway, Dan Triplett said to Brent Mack, "You're done. I'm firing you. I'm firing you." And that's when, allegedly, Brent Mack pulled a pistol and started fighting and try to take the gun away. And they fought over the gun. Dan Triplett panicked and lied to police. And the lies just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And that Dan Triplett acted in self-defense from a much bigger person, Brent Mack, about 6'4". The weight really hasn't been released, but said to be around 6'4". So we were trying to figure out what's the defense here, and I think I mentioned it last night or maybe the day before. Did Dan Triplett act in self-defense and lie to police? And that's where this is going for the defense. They're going to say they acted in self-defense. We've seen video. We actually saw the video again today at the job site, and the 10-minute portion that the jurors and the gallery saw, it did not appear to be any altercation between those two. Was there altercation before or after the video? Don't know, but the video that the jurors have seen so far does not show any altercation. Was there altercation? Remember, on the Crescent job 2 weeks prior, around September 8th, the property owner got there and said he felt there was some tension between Brent Mack and Dan Triplett. He never saw anything physical, but he can tell that Brent Mack was ready to go home and Dan Triplett was still working. So remember that. I think that'll play a key role here. So there was a lot of evidence this morning. Everything has been very, very positive for the state in their case so far. The only thing that I was waiting to hear, and I thought it was coming, was a motive. Okay, the state maybe feels like they have enough evidence to prove this case without a motive, and that could very well be true. But why did Dan Triplett shoot Brent Mack? And maybe they don't know. I think they do. I don't know. That's the part that I kind of wish they had out there. There were some things that kind of was aiming toward a motive. It just wasn't hit on anymore. And I thought that would come out, but it did not. So we'll find out. This was the foundation of the case that the defense will put on here a little bit. During jury selection, they didn't have very many witnesses that announced. They only had 2 or 3 names that they said, one of those being Sharon Triplett, who's been in the gallery the entire time. So I'm not sure if she will be able to take the stand or not, because she's heard every witnesses outside of the very first day, jury selection. But she's been there and heard all the evidence from other witnesses. So I don't know if this can be done today. Remember, there's no court on Friday, no court on Monday. So it'll be interesting to see how fast this defense goes. Will it take all day today, this afternoon, and a little bit on Tuesday, and then the jury gets it there. The only thing, it would be interesting if it did finish today, what Judge Corley would do. I think if it finished today, I'm not saying it will, but if it did finish today, I think the Judge Corley would probably want to give it to the jury today and avoid not being in court Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and have to wait for closing arguments. But I would certainly think it would probably be Tuesday, because you still have to do closing arguments. I forgot about that part. So anyway, that is the lunch update here today. Dan Triplett's attorney says Dan Triplett acted in self-defense and that he lied to police on everything, as far as duffel bag, travel, all that good stuff, and the lies kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So now we will see what the self-defense was, when it took place, how it happened, and all that good stuff. So I told you I'd come in during the lunchtime if there was something big. I thought this was something big. I will have a whole lot more of evidence, witnesses from earlier today, including the property owners that spoke to Dan Triplett. Now, remember the video. I'll give you a little preview here. The video of Brent Mack going into the hole that the jurors have watched. I actually got to see it again today, up to the point before Brent Mack went into the hole. You can't see faces. And so we're like, well, it might not be Dan Triplett. But 40 minutes after Brent Mack went into the hole, the property owners came and had a very weird, they said, weird conversation with Dan Triplett, who seemed a little busy, they said, awkward, they said. I'll have a whole lot more of that later on tonight with also this afternoon's evidence coming from the Logan County Courthouse. So that is the latest here in the Dan Triplett murder trial. Stay tuned here. I will go live tonight. I'll preview it later. I don't know if it'll be 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, but somewhere later this evening. So hope everyone has a great Thursday afternoon. Looks like it's going to get a little chilly over the weekend, but nonetheless, we will talk to you later this evening. So long.